We are live. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is another set of another show here with the now called the Authority Project. And who is the project? You are. You want to attach authority to your name so you can sell what you're great at. And we have my good friend Meg Sylvia here.
Yes.
Sort of a reunion of sorts. We've known each other for a very long time now. But we just reconnected after, unfortunately, 6 years
Yes.
from the Live Your Legend project.
Hard to believe.
Yes, and we actually live in the same state, not too far away.
Close by.
Maybe like a half an hour away, maybe from each other. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to have her here. We're going to be talking about scaling your business to 5-figure months.
Yeah.
And we're going to get right to it here. Meg, tell us, first of all, who you are personally and then who you are professionally.
Sure. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am Meg. I live just north of Boston. I spend my days working here in my little apartment with my pooch who just ran past, Ellie, my little sidekick. And basically, who I am personally has lots to do with who I am professionally. So I am a brand strategist, which is essentially a fancy way of saying that I help businesses get a lot of clarity around the really important pieces of their business and who they are as a business so that they can grow, like you said, to those 5-figure months and beyond. So that is a super brief overview, but I'm definitely happy to go a lot more in depth today with you.
Absolutely. And, I don't waste any time on here. So we have 30 minutes. Yeah. So we were kind of ballparking where to start. But let me start. Let's talk about the offer. Because I know I had questions about that.
Yes.
About the offer, how important it is. Just getting clarity about doing the offer.
Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to, I'm going to guess that's Mike who just commented. Hey guys, thanks for being here. So when it comes to your offer, and I'll even back up by saying when it comes to branding in general, there is a really common misconception that branding just means like your logo and your colors and the pretty stuff. But I see your offer, including your pricing, including the message, including like what this offer does for your ideal client. These are all pieces of your brand. So to put it simply, I see branding as essentially the way that your ideal clients or your clients perceive you and the experience that they go through when they work with you. So there's a lot of different factors that contribute to that. Sure, like a pretty website can give them that experience, but more importantly, there really needs to be alignment in a lot of these different areas. So when we talk about your offer, it's just really, really important to be super, super clear about the transformation that you're going to be taking a client through as a result of taking you up on that offer, right? So, and, depending on your niche, this can look a little bit different, but this really applies to anyone in a coaching role, in a service provider role, and any sort of role where what you do creates a result for your client, business-wise or personal-wise, right? So when it comes to offer clarity, there are a few things that we can look at. So first thing is coming in with a really clear sense, again, of who that ideal client is, but more important than like their demographics, like 35-year-old mom who lives in the suburbs. That doesn't really matter. What really matters is what are they experiencing right now? What pain are they in? And what is the dream that they're trying to accomplish? Or what is this challenge that they're trying to get out of? So if we can get really, really, really clear about what that one thing is, then our offer can be designed to like be the perfect solution to that thing. Does that make sense?
Right. And I want to just go back to what you were just saying, because I think a lot of people, and this is one of my big pet peeves right now, is like where people or even coaches and mentors I've seen before, they kind of block people at that point where they're stuck on the avatar, and they don't go anywhere else. They're just stuck like they get stuck there, and it's like, this is crazy, and they're not doing anything. Can you speak to that for a little quick, just real quick?
Yes. So I think I understand what you're saying, where a lot of coaches will really kind of obsess over you, like defining that out perfectly. Like, right. Where do they live? What magazines do they read? Like, what do they do when they come home at night? And all of that is nice to know. It's things that would be helpful for advertising in the future as far as targeting goes, but the targeting isn't as important as understanding the pain points and the fears and the wants of that person. So I guess you could think of that more in terms of psychographics. Right. But yeah, like none of that first level stuff is nearly as important as getting a real understanding of what this person is genuinely just going through. Mm. When you can speak to that, then your message becomes way, way more compelling. As we know, most of our niches are pretty darn crowded. Right. Right. So standing out and like cutting through that clutter is really hard. Like, I'll be honest, it's hard. So for all the people out there who first level. Yeah. For all the people out there who are competing with other coaches who are stuck at that first that first level of speaking. Right. By using like those pain points and those dreams and those like actual things that are going on in their head, your message suddenly stands out to that one person. And of course there's the topic of, right, well, how do I know who my one person is? And if I go too narrow and I speak just to them, doesn't that mean that I'm scaring away everybody else? Right. Which I do totally recognize is a scary thing, because we don't want to exclude people, but at the same time, if you don't get that level, that deep, deep level of clarity around who that person is, the message just isn't going to stand out to them. And so they'll never have the opportunity of realizing, oh my God, this person gets it. This is the person that understands what I need. Right. And I think your avatar, and check me if I'm wrong, but I think your avatar evolves with time. I don't think you're gonna know specifically who that person is in the beginning. Yeah. So I think that person really is the person that relates to you, that is just like you in some way. That's a great point. I totally agree. I think in probably most cases, we are our own ideal customer. Yeah. And that leads to a really good point, which is, and something that I think most courses and marketing people neglect, is that there are very different needs at each stage of business. And like you said, when you're just starting out, there's no way you could really necessarily know specifically until you really get that experience and start working with different people and say, hey, I really liked working with that guy, but that gal, like, that was not fun for me. And that's okay. Like, we can have those experiences and still do our best work for them. But yeah, there's definitely a refinement process. And it's just our experiences that are going to tell us what is best for us and for the offer that we want to put out there, right? Right. Now, is there like a so I said, like a 3-step process where we make this offer, like to a person, like you want, like what should be included in this offer if someone was to come to you and say, this is what I should have in your offer, or
It's not the power offer as we're trying to give
Yeah.
to them today.
Good question. So to have a really, really powerful offer, there's definitely a few things. I don't know how many steps this is going to turn out to be, but there's definitely a few things we can take into consideration. So number one, of course, like getting some form of clarity around who that person is. But when it comes to crafting an offer, basically the way I would define it is not like, okay, I have an 8-week program to help people with anxiety. It would be more like, I take you through the following process. These are the major milestone steps that we're going to go through, because I know you're dealing with XYZ problems. And so to solve those specific problems, this is the process that we're going to go through, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's group, whatever your format is. And by the end of our time together, you're going to walk away with these specific results.
I like it.
So that's how I define what an offer is. It's not just, I have an 8-week course.
Gotcha.
So as far as like how long it should be or how in depth it should be, there's no perfect answer. There really just isn't. You know, I somewhat recently took a high ticket course myself where they told us it should be an 8-week course. That's just the way it should be. I was like, well, if I can get someone the result in 1 month, why would I need to drag them on for an extra 4 weeks? Or if I'm in a field where there's a lot of like, I don't know, internal digging that you have to do to heal somebody from a certain trauma, then maybe it takes 12 weeks. It doesn't really matter. It's just, what is the most effective path to get somebody from where they are to the outcome?
Okay.
So let me see if I can clear that down into steps. So step one is identifying the solution you want to solve. And of course, you'll find this out over time as you work with more people and you see what the big problems are. So what problem are you going to solve? That's the end outcome.
Okay.
And then you can define what tangible results does that look like? And I know for a lot of people, there's this kind of, a lot of people that are in fields like life coaching or relationship coaching. Well, that one's a little more tangible, but some of those fields where it feels like there can't be a tangible answer, like, well, I'm not helping people get a job or I'm not helping people hit 6 figures. But a lot of times your ideal clients will have very similar outcomes as a result of working with you that are tangible. Whether it is they're really looking to increase their energy, like they're absolutely drained, or whether it is they do end up getting a promotion because they have so much more confidence. Right? So there are tangibles that we can find. Sometimes that does take a little digging and conversation to get that clarity, though. So with the endpoint in mind, then we can work backwards and say, okay, what are the big things that have to happen to get a person there? And how are these unique to me? So this is where you can start to talk about your offer in a way that is different than every other life coach out there or whatever, right? What is your unique path to getting them there? Again, this is something that over time and experience, you develop your own way of doing things. And even if it's similar to what others are doing, you can still put your own kind of spin on making it sound special.
I think that's absolutely, I'm going to stop right there. It is absolutely necessary that you have something different. Even if you say it differently, it has to be different. It can be like, if you, maybe you don't say heal, you say something else, a different wording or something just to connect that to you specifically. So I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that for sure.
Now,
do you frame your offer to different price points or different, like you said, it could be 30 days, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. Do you frame it differently for different people, depending on their needs?
That's a good question. So if you are at a point where you are still trying to hit that 5-figure a month mark or get to 6 figures, I would definitely recommend focusing in as narrowly as possible.
Okay.
Because if you can get really good at selling this first offer to this first group of people, then you're creating a lot more efficiency in that process. And so you'll be able to move faster with one offer for one group of people than having like different offers built out. That doesn't mean that you can't have a high ticket option and like a downsell option. This is something my partner Steph and I do, is that we have our high ticket offer and some people just aren't ready for that yet. And that doesn't mean we don't want them to have a way to work with us. So we do have a little bit more of an entry level option to get people into your world, but it still is for the same type of people looking to do the same type of thing. They just might not quite be there yet.
Right. And I'm not sure if you finished with your steps there, but I do want to get into scaling for sure, because I know that's what everybody's here for. Say we have clarity, and we can always. We're going to bring her back somehow in the group room. We'll fit it up for sure. I guarantee you that. We'll find a way. But say right now we're doing good. Our offer is clear. Mm-hmm. We're getting a few clients in. We're feeling good about ourselves. We're getting some clients in, but we're just like, okay, I can't break into trying to get more and more like the other guys that people saying like they've got these lead machines. We're getting 100 leads a day. We can't do anything like that. And we're trying to do organic, we're trying to get paid, whatever. How do we scale from the few clients that we have that we're clinging on to the point where we're getting on, we're on demand in a sense?
Great question. So you guys might not like my answer. I don't have a magic formula. And what we have found is that there are a lot, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. Troy.
Thank you, Troy.
So,
coming to relief here.
There are a lot, you will see, us being entrepreneurs, we see a lot of ads. Yeah. We see a lot of programs. We see a lot of options for marketing. And it's really tempting to be drawn in when you see this ad that says, just set and forget this one system. It works for everybody at any stage of business. And we try it. And for some reason, our results don't look like the testimonials. Yeah. So what we've come to realize is that if you are just starting out, the same tactics that work for someone looking to scale to 7 figures are probably not going to work. So what we really do is have to look at, for your type of ideal client, number one, what is actually attractive to them? Thank you, Troy. I like to think I'm centered in reality, but what do they like? How do they consume content, first of all? Yeah. So if we want to get a consistent flow of clients, typically there'll be some sort of lead magnet or way to attract people in at a free level so they can get a taste for what we do. So if we're talking about this entry level offering, if it's free, there's no like cookie cutter answer to give you. It's not like this magic, hey, you create this 10-page ebook and that's going to work for everyone. And then you turn on an ad and then suddenly you have 100 leads coming in a day. It doesn't really work like that. Mm-hmm. So if you are a career coach and you have really busy professionals who are your ideal client, well, they're probably not going to want to sit through another 2-hour-long webinar. So maybe what they need is a 10-minute to the point video. They can get to know who you are. They're decision makers. They know what they're looking for, and they can get to know you that way. Yeah. That mechanism for you is going to look different than it might for people in other niches. And it also kind of depends on who you want to be as a brand. So maybe you're the kind of person that wants to be doing Facebook Lives every day, but what if you don't want to do that? That's right. We can select another avenue where you can still attract your people in a way that feels good for you. So give you a little bit more of a solid answer. Stephanie and I call this basically creating your client pathway.
Okay.
And that means, how do you take a brand new person that's never heard of you to become your perfect client, to become a client that wants to buy everything you ever create?
Okay.
And so that path typically is going to consist of, number one, some sort of attraction mechanism, like we just spoke about. It's going to consist of consistency, which I know some people don't want to hear. And oh my God, I fought organic for literally like 9 years. I just wanted to go straight to ads every time. And guess what? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you need to build up that tribe, the small little tribe, so you can find out what people are actually drawn to. And then you can put ads on it. So what are you going to draw those people in with? How are you going to make connections? How are you going to nurture connections? And then what is your actual offer? So I know that probably wasn't the answer that people wanted to hear, but I would really recommend thinking about, what can I sustain without hating it, without waking up every morning and being like, oh my God, I need to write another blog post. What can you actually enjoy doing?
That was my question the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The grind. But what you gave was an entrepreneur answer, right? It's work ethic. Yeah. And that's something I haven't really touched at all. Sorry, students in this Authority Academy, I haven't touched that at all. That's my process. And that's the reason why I was like, I haven't even touched on that, because I don't think you're ready for that yet. But there's a work ethic involved that you need to have to go through this. It is not easy. It's simple.
Yes.
But it's not easy.
That's a really good point too, Brian, because I should say that I believe and this is, guys, this is not like if you want to make 10 grand overnight. Like, sure, you can go run some ads and probably make some money, and that's great. But if you really want like a legacy business, if you want a brand that is really transformational for people and that can grow consistently, and that you don't have to worry about the ads being shut off and your Facebook account gets banned, and what do I do now?
Right.
So I come at it from that angle, where we want this to be like a lasting business. And so to get to 5 figures a month, I don't believe you need to be spending money on ads yet. I don't believe you're typically ready for that yet. And it sounds like a lot of work, yes, because it is, but at the same time, we can create efficiencies and systems for everything, you know?
Yeah.
Once we figure out what that pathway looks for you, then we can really optimize things to the point where maybe you spend an hour a day doing this stuff and that's it. Because ultimately, as a coach or a business owner, you didn't get into this to be like a marketer unless you're in marketing space. Right. But we want you to do your work, but you need some form of this system to make that possible, right?
Yeah. And I'll add to that from it's a friend of mine. I'll say, I don't want to drop names, but I'm gonna drop her name. Kate Erickson told me this before when I talked to her, and she really, and when I saw her on stage, and then we talked after that about chunking down what she does on a Saturday. She chunks down everything. So sometimes you don't have to do it every day. Sometimes you just do it that one day.
Yeah.
Bulk it up on a Saturday. Do 6 articles, whatever, and have it scheduled out, and you're done for the week. And then you can work on some other things towards your business. That's another way to do it as well.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, this is your business, and it can feel really stressful hearing the way other people do things, because we feel like we should be doing things a certain way. But this is your thing. It gets to be exactly as you want it to be.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all about the personalization, about making this yours, and just, sometimes we need a little guidance to figure out what that means.
Absolutely. All right. We got like 6 minutes. Anything else anything of hopeful? Because I know some of us are just like, people will probably listen to this and like, oh God, please tell me something easy. And
Okay. Well, here's the news. For so many businesses that are hustling already, like when I say, oh, you just need to, figure out what organic strategy works for you, you might be like, I'm already doing that. It's horrible. I hate it. I'm already like spending X amount of hours a day trying to do that. So I feel you. And the good news is for a lot of people, you are this close. And sometimes we're doing the right things, but there is just something so small that is a little bit off, or maybe the messaging just isn't quite, jiving with the people that you're trying to attract. Maybe you're posting it in the wrong place. Whatever it might be, it could be the smallest thing that is like, as soon as that thing is fixed, you go. So I just want to comfort that sometimes you just need to sit down and take a look at everything, or get a friend who's in business or a coach to take a look at your business and say, oh my gosh, you're doing really good. Do you see this? Do you see this right here? This one little thing? It's not usually, unless you're just starting out and we're building from scratch, but you're not usually having to reinvent the entire wheel. It's usually small tweaks that will just open things up.
I love it. And you'll find those over time. I mean, you have to do it to find it. You can't be like, how's this going to work until you're working in it? Like what Troy is saying right now, building a real long-lasting business, there aren't many easy parts. It's true.
Yeah, and it can feel that way, and
you automate.
It is true. Yeah, that is true sometimes, but everything can be made easier.
True.
Everything can be. I'm big into systems and big into streamlining and optimization and delegation, all that fun stuff. But again, these are things that at the stages that most of us are at, we just don't need yet.
Yeah. And I would say that, like, just from a personal level, I would say for me and Meg, we're both introverts. We're proud to be that. You would never know that from seeing us on here like this, doing the live thing. But I mean, it can be agonizing for an introvert to really get into, organic reach.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's taken us both, a lot of work to get to the point where we're comfortable doing this kind of thing. And I know for me, over the past year, I've been putting a lot more effort into organic. And at the end of the day now, I am drained. There's not And at the same time, though, I'm really happy, because even though it's draining for me to connect with so many people, it's also really rewarding. And I know that as we continue to grow and scale, these things can be automated better. And right now, you might have to make those connections one-on-one, but as you go from 6 figures up, that's when we can start to talk about layering those ads on. That's when we can really get into the cool stuff where what your message is, what works, what people respond to. And so all of a sudden the ad money actually is well spent.
I love it.
Because it's been tested.
Exactly. All right. We're at 4:29, so Eastern time. So we're going to cut it off there. And I just want to let, I'm just fantastic stuff, Meg. It's fantastic stuff. I want you to let people know where to find you, and probably Stephanie as well. So they can connect with you, if that's okay.
Sure. Well, you can find me at artfulpro.com. You're also just welcome to click on my little profile and friend me on Facebook. I post a lot of my content right on my main profile now, which was very scary to start doing.
Yes.
And through that, I talk about what we do. On my website, you can find out more about what we do. We've got plenty of videos on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably the website would be the best first place to go, or just shoot me a friend request or a message, or say what's up, and I'm always happy to answer questions or chat or help in whatever way that I can.
Perfect. Yeah. I love it. People, check her out. She's great. She is great. Great content. Always love to hear her stuff. So that is it for today for the Authority Project. You are the project, and we want to slap authority onto it so you can sell it well. All right. So please join us again. We'll be back on Monday with someone else. And take care. Have a good one.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you, guys.
So hold on.